Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, back once again with some more Ottoman history. Battle of Ankara. I'm not sure. 1402, Ottoman Timurid War. I'm sorry with my pronunciations. I don't know how to read. But yes, this is I think the third one I've done as far as Ottoman history goes on this playlist. I don't know if I'm going to actually go through the whole playlist. I'll probably do a few of these Ottoman history videos, and I'll probably jump to something else, and I'll probably come back to this because I'll end up doing the whole Ottoman playlist eventually. But I don't think I'm just going to do it all in one go. Who knows? We'll find out, right? But anyways, guys, please hit that like and subscribe button below. And if you're new to my channel, this is like the third I've done the Kosovo battle, and I've done the I can't pronounce anything. Nicopolis, battle, which we just did last time, and that's where pretty much the Ottomans, that they had their crap together, and then the Crusaders they didn't. They just couldn't work together, and that is definitely a theme. And in some of these videos, people can't work together. They tend not to win unless they just have overwhelming numbers against their enemy. But anyways, guys, like I said, hit the like and subscribe button below, and we are going to jump into this. 3, 2, 1, bam.
There is a tendency to show the expansion of the Muslim empires as a continuous march towards the west and the north. But there was as much infighting within the Islamic lands as there was outward movement. Many grandiose battles were fought between the Muslim states, but none was more significant in terms of numbers of participants and historical implications than the Battle of Ankara in 1402 between Sultan Bayezid I and Amir Timur.
Okay.
In 1396, the Ottoman Sultan Bayezid I defeated a broad alliance of European crusaders led by the Burgundian lord John of Nevers and the King of Hungary Sigismund I at the Battle of Nicopolis.
Right.
Seemingly, very little was stopping Bayezid from taking Constantinople or invading Central Europe. However, the Sultan knew that soon he would have to face a threat from the east. The Mongol domains declined in the 14th century.
Yeah, so we're going to the east now, so we got like a totally different battle now, and this is exciting. Forgot that we're going east now.
The Mongol domains declined in the 14th century. The Yuan dynasty lost China, the Ilkhanate that previously controlled Iran, the Caucasus, and part of Iraq was split between a number of dynasties, and the Golden Horde that held domain over a third of modern Russia was stagnating. Central Asia was in turmoil due to the rapid dissolution of the Chagatai Khanate, and many warlords vied for power. One of them was Timur, who was born in 1336 into the Turkified Mongolian Valis tribe. He was a small-time raider but a capable fighter in his youth, and by 1358 became the leader of his tribe. During this period, Timur suffered an injury that crippled his leg, and he received the nickname Leng, lame or slow in Persian. That is why he is known as Tamerlane in the West. By 1370, Timur was ruling most of Central Asia and started planning his invasion. In 1378, he helped Toktamish to rise to the throne of the Golden Horde. Timur then continued with the invasion of the rest of Central Asia, and in 1381 started the conquest of Iran, which was occupied by 1386. Most of the Caucasus came under his control in the next 3 years.
Wow.
Timur's invasions were based on terror. Any city that tried to resist him was reduced to ashes, and its population was massacred or enslaved. Towers made of skulls were erected to prevent.
So I'm assuming like that it kind of reminds me of oh my god, what's the dude's name? Oh, I can't remember the guy that's named after Dracula, or vice versa. Yeah, totally forget his name, but Terror, is basically a lot of enemies didn't, gave up before like battles even started. Like, you gotta just give up and hand over, your land or castle or whatever, and instead of facing the consequences of when you're gonna, if you lose, because you lose everything, your whole family, your town, everything. So yeah, fear is definitely a tactic that works very well. Vlad the Impaler, that's it. Vlad the Impaler, I remembered. But anyway, this kind of just reminded me of him. Anyways, and if you're new, I've done that series, so check it out. Anyways, sorry, I'm mumbling everywhere.
Any form of defiance. Taking the Caucasus meant that Timur's domain was neighboring the Golden Horde, and conflict with Toktamish became inevitable. Between 1391 and 1395, Toktamish was defeated twice and lost his realm. Meanwhile, the situation to the west was changing rapidly. The Ottoman Sultan took control of small Turkic beyliks in 1398 and 1399.
It is definitely just, it seems so odd that Constantinople hasn't been taken yet. When it's surrounded by the Ottomans, it's just sitting right here. I know it, eventually, falls and everything, but it's just, fine. It seems so odd. Anyways.
The rulers of these lands left for the court of Timur, while some of the leaders dethroned by Timur in Iran and Iraq found refuge in the Ottoman capital. Bayezid's and Timur's domains were now bordering each other. Timur didn't want to start a war against a fellow Muslim superpower. Hence, a long letter correspondence between the two leaders began. One of Timur's letters said, "Be wise and repent, avert our vengeance. You are nothing more than an ant. Don't provoke the elephants, or you will get trampled." And Bayezid answered, "If I run from your armies, may all my wives divorce me. But if you dare to run away from mine, may all your wives belong to other men." This war of words was leading nowhere, and Timur moved to the west yet again. Armenia.
I don't get it. Why just be like, hey, you stay on your side of this half, whatever this is, this border here, and you stay on your half. I mean, I don't understand why they just can't, have a peaceful kind of, I don't know. I guess each one of them wants to be the more powerful person to kind of make the other one, I don't know. Each one of them wants to outdo the other one, I guess. It's one of those kind of things, I guess.
Armenia and Georgia were conquered in 1400 and thousands were massacred. Timur was worried that the Mamluk Sultanate of Syria and Egypt might ally itself with the Ottomans. So in the next 2 years, he sacked Damascus and Aleppo to take control of the land route between the two empires. By the end of 1401, Timur took Sivas from the Ottomans and turned it into his base. That was the beginning of the war. When Timur besieged Ankara, Bayezid lifted the siege of Constantinople and moved his troops to Anatolia, reaching Ankara by June of 1402. Timur retreated to draw Bayezid away from his defensible position. The Ottoman Sultan knew that Timur's forces would raid the lands to the east, and that forced Bayezid to leave a small garrison and march his troops towards the enemy. The Ottoman army mounted a road between Sivas and Tokat, as Bayezid hoped to use the dense forests of the area to diminish any advantage Timur's horse archers may give him. This maneuver meant that Timur would either have to fight at a location not suited to the strength of his forces, or retreat from Anatolia. However, Timur chose a third option. His huge army vanished, and Ottoman scouts failed to find them.
What?
Timur moved to the southwest and took Kayseri, while Bayezid was still sure that he would find his enemy to the north. Timur continued towards Ankara and ended up behind the Ottoman forces. The Sultan learned about the brilliant maneuver of his enemy when Ankara was besieged. Bayezid couldn't allow Timur to ransack his lands and so had no other choice but to...
it's so hard to believe like armies of those sizes go unknown. But then again, it's not that hard to believe because I mean, unless they have, I guess, spies everywhere, looking for them. I guess they're not going to see it. It is wow, like that giant army. I figure like people on lookouts over here, might see it. Maybe they do see it, but by the time they get back to like the Ottoman army, it's just too late. But wow, good move, dude.
Force march his tired troops to Ankara. The Battle of Ankara took place on July 28, 1402. Timur's army was a traditional Mongol Tatar force with a significant number of horse archers. He also had a few dozen armoured elephants captured during his invasion of India. Meanwhile, the Ottoman army was a mix of old Seljuk irregular forces, Tatar mercenaries, a small professional army corps created by the earlier sultans, and Eastern European knights led by a Serbian vassal of Bayezid, Stefan Lazarevic. At the beginning of the campaign, Timur and Bayezid had similar numbers, with more than 100,000 troops. But
so basically, like, I guess they're going to explain more here. But Timur has basically, he's got the advantage of the horsemen, but then the Ottomans have the advantage of, I guess, the armor, and I guess maybe better weaponry, because, I don't know, it seems like the farther, closer you get to Europe, that's when the better armor and like better weaponry comes into play, and the Ottomans are kind of in between, basically Europe and so in that between area, so they kind of have the best of both worlds, or that kind of thing going on. So I'm guessing Timur, has a lot more land, so I'm guessing he'll outnumber the Ottomans. We'll find out.
it is said that the Ottoman Sultan lost at least 20,000 during the forced march from Sivas to Ankara.
Raise your standards and lower your costs. Take payments with Square Terminal.
I want to apologize. It's kind of late and tired, so if I seem a little out of it, that's why. Probably skip this commercial.
Timur divided his horse archers into 4 groups, with 1 in the centre, 2 on the flanks, and 1 more in reserve, while his elephants were positioned in the vanguard. Bayezid had a strong centre, with archers in front, janissaries in the second line, and Sipahi cavalry in reserve. On the left he placed the Serbian cavalry of Stefan, while his right was manned by the troops from Anatolia and Tatar mercenaries. Bayezid hoped that his flanks, who had a defensible position, would hold so that he would be able to counterattack with his centre. The accounts of the battle are very different between sources, so we present the one that made the most sense to us. Timur moved his wings forward while his centre lagged behind. The battle started on the Ottoman left as their Serbian troops were attacked by the enemy cavalry, but they managed to stop them and inflict substantial damage. One more wave was sent against the Serbs. This time an attempt to outflank them was made, but Stefan's forces stood their ground. Meanwhile, Timur's left flank attacked the Ottoman right, commanded by Prince Suleiman. Timur also sent his centre forwards to tie down Bayezid's janissaries. Something unexpected for Bayezid happened on his right flank, as all 18,000 of his Tatar mercenaries changed sides and joined Timur's attack on the Ottoman right. Suleiman was encircled, and Bayezid had to send his reserve to help. On the left flank, Serbian units were now attacked by...
Geez, the fact that, they changed sides over here, and, the Ottomans are still in the battle, and he was able to, send troops over to stop them from flanking his entire army right there. Man, that shows, I don't know, some skill and some poise. But man, great move, man, that they're still able to hold them off, even though part of their army defected to the other side. That's awesome.
His reserve to help. On the left flank, Serbian units were now attacked by even more enemies, but despite increasing casualties, held them off. Sources claim that Stefan sent a messenger to the Sultan suggesting a retreat while it was still possible, but Bayezid rejected it. At this point, Prince Suleiman was ordered to withdraw to save his life, while Stefan was told to hold the flank with a portion of his forces and cover the retreat with the rest. Timur sent his reserve on a deep flanking maneuver, and both the right and left flank of the Ottoman army were overrun by their foes. Still, the Serbian forces managed to use their advantage in armour to break out of the encirclement and join Suleiman in his retreat. The remainder of the Ottoman centre was slowly pushed towards a hill called Katiltepe. It is said that Bayezid, along with his Sipahis and Janissaries, was able to hold off the enemy for hours, despite being severely outnumbered. Later, he was able to break the encirclement with his bodyguards, but an arrow killed his horse, and for the first time in history, an Ottoman Sultan was imprisoned.
Wow.
Although both armies lost a significant number of warriors, it was a decisive victory for Timur. There are conflicting theories on what happened with Bayezid once he was in captivity, but in any case, he died a few months later. In 1404, Timur started an invasion of China, but he would die in early 1405. The Ottomans entered an extended period of internal war between the sons of Bayezid, but these events, the fates of Stefan, the Timurids and the Byzantines, and the battles of Varna and Kosovo will be covered in our next video in this series.
Wow.
Thanks for watching our documentary on the Battle of Ankara.
Man, so basically a bunch of chaos just happened after this. Like, you had two, like, pretty strong armies. And obviously, you know, the Ottomans, you know, they lost their Sultan. Well, he got captured and died. I guess the conditions, and I guess obviously not treated very well. Maybe, I don't know how old he was, but he dies. And anytime, it seems like anytime someone dies, if there's not a clear heir, it's just total chaos and civil war. And apparently that's going on both sides, since Timurid's died like a couple years later, like 3 years later, something like that. So now I guess each side's going through their, like, you know, going through their civil war. Seemed like seems like a good opportunity for, you know, like Central Europe, you know, to kind of make a move on the Ottomans, you know, while they're going through this bad time, which they might have. I'm not sure. I get all these timelines mixed up because I jump from different points in history to back and forth and everything. So I'm sorry, guys, if you guys, you know, expect me to kind of remember previous series with that intertwined with future series. You know, sorry. It seems like everything's always new to me except for remembering bits and pieces here and there. But I should definitely be interesting. The next one, I guess, how the pieces fall into place and stuff like that, and how, you know, the Ottomans bounce back here. I kind of thought they were going to win here, but wasn't meant to be. I mean, some of the guys defected, and I guess it was only a matter of time before. But you know, but even after they defected, I thought Ottomans still had a chance, but you know, wasn't meant to be. But anyways, guys, you guys have a great day. Please hit that like and subscribe video. Sorry, you know, I just said, you know, I don't know. I haven't been able to express exactly what I wanted to say, and the words weren't coming out right, so I apologize about confusion and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, peace. Catch you guys in future videos. Like and subscribe, and I'm out of here. You guys have a great day, a great night. Woo!